Once upon a time, there was a group of Snore Bears who lived in a small forest on the edge of a village. These bears were quite special because they could never sleep in peace. As soon as they fell asleep, they started snoring so loudly that they woke each other up. Sometimes, people in the village could even hear them snoring, even though it was many miles away. The Snore Bears were sad that they could never sleep for long. Again and again, they tried to be quiet, but it was as if their snoring had a life of its own. One morning, after they had spent another sleepless night waking each other up, Bruno, the biggest and coziest Snore Bear, decided, "We can't keep going on like this. We have to find a place where we can sleep in peace without waking ourselves up." The other bears, Bella, Balu, Boris, and Bärbel, nodded in agreement. They packed a few pots of honey and pillows into their backpacks and set off to find the perfect sleeping spot. After a long walk through the forest, the Snore Bears reached a beautiful, calm lake. The sun was shining on the sparkling water, and birds were singing happily in the trees. "It must be quiet here," said Bruno. They put their pillows down on the soft, mossy ground and lay down. "What a lovely spot." Bella whispered as she closed her eyes. The other bears nodded sleepily, and soon you could hear soft snoring. But the snoring grew louder and louder until it sounded like thunder. Bruno's snoring was so strong that it created little waves on the lake. The frogs jumped into the water in shock, and the fish dived deep down. Finally, the bears woke up again from their own snoring. "This didn't work," sighed Bruno. "We have to move on." The other bears nodded tiredly, and they set off for the next spot. They wandered deeper into the forest and soon found a particularly dense area where the trees grew so tall that their tops almost touched the sky. "Our snoring will surely be muffled here," Bella said hopefully. They lay down on a carpet of soft needles and twigs. "It feels like a bed," Balu whispered, and the others agreed. But no sooner had they fallen asleep than Bella started snoring. It was so loud that the leaves fell from the trees. The squirrels, sitting in the branches, looked around in shock and fled in all directions. With a jolt, the Snore Bears woke up again. "Oh no, not again," Bella wailed. "I'm sorry for being so loud." But the other bears comforted her. "It's not your fault. Our snoring is just too loud for this forest. We have to keep looking." After a while, the Snore Bears reached a range of gentle hills. They looked like huge, soft pillows, and Balu said excitedly, "We have to try here. The hills are so soft and cozy, maybe they'll absorb our snoring." Carefully, the bears lay down in the tall grass and snuggled up. "This is perfect," murmured Boris as he slowly fell asleep. But suddenly, Balu began to snore, and the echo of his snoring bounced from hill to hill. It was as if 1,000 bears were snoring at the same time. The sheep grazing on the hills jumped up in fright and ran in all directions. "This is unbelievable," shouted Balu as he woke up again. "Even the hills can't handle our snoring." Exhausted and desperate, the Snore Bears kept walking until they found a high mountain that reached up into the clouds. "Maybe we can sleep on the clouds," Bärbel suggested. So they climbed the mountain, and with much effort, they finally reached the soft, fluffy clouds. "This must be the perfect spot," said Bruno with relief. They lay down in the clouds and closed their eyes. But as soon as Boris started snoring, the wind became so strong that the clouds scattered in all directions. The bears tumbled back down the mountain and finally landed on the ground again. "This won't work," sighed Boris. "Not even the clouds can let us sleep quietly." At last, the bears reached another, lonely mountain that had a large, dark cave. "This is our last try," said Bruno determinedly. "Maybe the cave will finally swallow our snoring." The Snore Bears crawled into the cave, which was nice, cool, and cozy. They snuggled up close together, put their heads on their pillows, and closed their eyes. "It's so quiet here," Bella whispered. This time, their snoring was still loud, but the cave absorbed the sound, and the mountain seemed to embrace the snoring like a big pillow. They slept and slept without waking up. It was the best sleep they had ever had, and so the Snore Bears finally found their perfect sleeping spot. They moved into the cave, set it up with their pillows and honey pots, and lived there happily ever after. Never again did they have to wake each other up with their snoring, because the Snore Mountain was the best place for them. The story of the Snore Bears spread throughout the land, and they became known as the bears who found the place where they could finally sleep in peace. And if they're not snoring, they're still sleeping there to this day.